Okay guys, parts are in, thermostat, water pump, let's get it in there and see if that solves the problem. I'm showing this, this work just so you have an idea of, you know, if you put a little bit of elbow grease and time and effort into making it a DIY project, you can save yourself a ton of money. Labor costs at a dealership or even some of the smaller shops is out of this world, and then the markup price for parts is crazy as well. I like to go to parts.com and get probably a good 85% of my parts at a great price and save the labor and do it myself. So I thought I would get footage of this so you can kind of see what type of labor you could get into. It may look a little scary as all kinds of stuff gets ripped apart here and there, but you can do it. Back in the day when I started doing this, there was no YouTube to give you an idea of the work that goes into it and maybe the process and some how-to. It was maybe some groups here and there online, but other than that, I had to just reach out to peers and ask their opinions. So I'm just adding to the library of videos to show how the work gets done and the work that can go into it, but you could do it yourself. I know you guys can. Fix your own car, save that money and labor you would pay to a dealership and take your family out to dinner. So let's get started. So here's the thermostat. Goofiest thing you ever want to see. 5 hoses going into it plus the sensor, and there is the water pump itself. We have some clamps. We need a new serpentine belt as well. That was shredded and cracked. Very long belt. And we have things cleaned up. I do have to clean up where the water pump bolts onto the block where the gaskets are. That needs to be cleaned up. And then once that's done, we can get things in. A sensor was needed as well. We have that right here. That twists into the bottom radiator hose that comes out from the radiator. So there's one up front and there's also one in the back as well. Even though it is a lower radiator hose, nothing needs to be moved. The shroud is out of the way. You just reach down in there, twist it off, unplug it from the wire, and put the new one on. Simple process, but will no doubt puke up some of the orange coolant from the Rover here. So let's get something under there to catch that the best we can. The old one is out compared to the new one. It's been in there for quite some time. It is ready to be changed. All right, we'll get some coolant in here, cycle it through, burp it so there's no air pockets, and then we'll fire this thing up. What we want to see is that top right orange triangle to go away, the coolant level right in the center there, and then that triangle right above the speedometer needle. So it's not going away immediately. Maybe it needs time. We're going to run it, maybe put a mile or two on it, and we'll give it some time for the coolant to cycle through and the sensor to get a reading to the ECU. Okay, so after letting it idle out in the parking lot, taking it for a ride, the sensors still could not pick up any antifreeze. There's a couple sensors. There's one right up front here that we just replaced. There's one in the back on the crossover pipe, and there's another crossover pipe underneath the intake. So they're plastic. So I'm thinking they cracked, cannot hold antifreeze, and that's why it's not picking up any type of coolant. And since they are only $56 and $84, 56 for the front and 80 some for the back crossover pipes, I ordered them because it's just going to take a little bit of time and my time and elbow grease, but we're still within the pocket of money that I'd be willing to spend on something like this after just picking it up for a couple $100. So let's continue on. As long as these parts are cheap. After these two crossover pipes, the only other two things it would be the clutch fan, which that tests fine, and the radiator could be clogged as well, but that's very rare. So these crossover pipes, very, very common to crack. Why the hell they make them plastic when they're in such horrible places, I'll never know, but with a little bit of time, you can get to them, replace them, and move on. As you can see, I've already started to tear it down. Again, like I said, I'm familiar with these, so no problem. You have to unbolt the throttle body, pull that forward. There's a couple lines that go across the top of the intake, and then there's a wiring harness you need to loosen back here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 bolts, and we can lift the intake up. And this is the culprit right here. It starts here with these two hoses, and it goes up and down underneath the intake, and goes. It's a double pipe that goes in behind the water pump, and they are known to fail. And there's a sensor back there on that one that goes. It's behind the wiring harness. It goes from one side to another side, it crosses over, and there's a sensor back there on that one, and if it's cracked and it's not holding coolant, that sensor is going to go off. So we'll replace both of these, and we'll just go from there. Okay, so there's a hose that runs in, and there's a clip under there. So we will have to undo that. And I think there might be a harness on the back yet, and then we can get it out of there. Okay, so let me show you what we have here. The first thing I'm going to do is get some towels or paper towels and protect so nothing gets down into the block. And here, now that that's removed, so easy to see, there is the crossover and there is the sensor that's the one I believe is not picking up any. And right there you can see some signs of failure. Right there where the antifreeze, which is orange, is coming out of there. And the other one is this one here, and it runs down the back into there, and down there I believe is where the common fail point is. I have to take 1, 2, there's the other one in the front, 3, remove these hoses, and we'll get these front and back crossovers out of there. All right, I got it out, my friends, and indeed, here is the culprit. Split right in half. We found it. Guys, not only is it busted there, it also broke the ends of these caps, which have bushings. So it was leaking out of here and there as well. No wonder. So if it was leaking out of that one, it's probably, well, I showed you where it's failing there. That's going to be the bugger back there. Not the easiest to reach, but we're going to get that out and replace front and back. Okay, we got the rear crossover pipe out of there. Sits back in there like this, and this tab was broken and it was squirting out of this hose, landing in there. There was a leak up here. So, and then this is where the sensor goes into. And if there's no antifreeze or coolant going through from one side to another, that's why that sensor stayed on, and the other sensors. Coolant could not stay in there long enough. Two more things that have to be taken care of, and I did order them. We have to replace these gaskets. This one here. And then all of these as well. They're shot. It's supposed to be nice and elastic. They're real stiff and brittle from the heat. Now, while I wait for parts, I'm going to clean all this up. And clean up all of this garbage in here and all that in there. Clean up the back side of this for the intake. And just get everything ready. There is the sensor that was plugged in into the cross pipe. It does come with a new sensor, but just in case, I left one there. In case it doesn't come with one, I'll just pop that off and go to a parts store and grab one. Okay, I believe the cross pipes are here, but the gasket kit for the intake, I have to wait for that to come in another day or two. In the meantime, I'll clean everything up. So that's going to do it for this video. We're making progress. It should do it. I mean, as we can see, that was a huge problem. And unless the clutch fan or the radiator is clogged, this thing should be good to go. And we're still under $1,000 with all the parts put together. $50 here, $80 there. The most expensive part was the water pump at $170. You know, I'm okay with that. As long as when we get it together, everything, you know, is driving smoothly again and there's no more leaks or overheating, and then all of those sensors tell the ECU that there's coolant and it's running at the right temperature. This has been Brian from Apex Auction Car Reconditioning. I'll catch you in the next video.